is Bill from Calderwood Percussion with another shop update. First of all, this is a Demaro glockenspiel, which belongs to Randolph High School, and these Demaro Glocks are fantastic instruments. This thing sounds awesome, and it comes as really beautifully made oak case, but oh my god, this thing is heavy. So my buddy Adam, who teaches at Randolph High School, was asking me if I could build some kind of frame for this thing, just because it's so heavy to move around. And he had a couple of these Yamaha Marima frames from instruments that they have at the school that they've switched over to field frames. And so he asked me if I could use the parts from this Yamaha concert frame to make a frame for this instrument. So I grabbed those and I welded up a base for this using just steel angle iron, and attached it to this oak box using the existing screw hole, so there was no drilling or modification to the oak frame. And the Yamaha frame, I cut the center bar, but it attaches just with nuts that are welded to the steel base, so the struts just screw right into them. And the result is a really nice concert frame for this glockenspiel, which makes it just a much more manageable instrument to have in their school program. So yeah, I'm really happy with how that turned out, and I filmed the process, which I'm going to edit into a very Jimmy DiResta inspired kind of build video. So I think that'll be fun. Also, I think last week I showed these Eames snare drums that belong to the Piscataway Rangers Fife and Drum Corps. These drums were built in 1970 and 1972, and they needed a lot of work. The bearing edges just weren't working, and the snare beds were way too deep, and there's just no way to really make these drums sound good the way they were. So I cut off the old edges and recut them and cut new snare beds, and so these shells are ready to go. I have some work to do on the hoops, and then I can reassemble these drums. Now these, I filmed the whole process in what is going to be very much an instructional video of how to do these kind of modifications. So you know, if you're interested in learning about that, that video should go up sometime soon once I have time to edit it. So I think that'll be cool too. And along the way, I made this. This is a jig for cutting snare beds. Now, I've always cut snare beds by hand. I like doing it that way. I think that it kind of allows you to really shape the voice of the instrument and make every instrument unique. But the more I find myself making full drum lines for fife and drum corps or pipe bands or whatever, the more I find that having repeatable processes is really important. You know, when you're making a whole drum line, you want all the instruments you want to be able to tune them as consistently as possible, and you do everything in the process of building the drums to make it easy for the drum tech to tune these things and get consistent sound so that you have a really cohesive sound for your drum line. And we're doing all the snare beds by hand. It's just really difficult to achieve that level of consistency. So I finally made myself a jig for cutting snare beds. And so with this, the drum just lays in here, and you use it on a router table. And I cut some acrylic templates. They can go here. This is just an interchangeable piece of acrylic, and I cut them with a variety of different radiuses, and I've got a few other contours, so that depending on what kind of drum it is, what size the drum is, what kind of sound you want, you can just interchange this template, clamp the drum down, and just run it right against a pattern bit on the router, and very consistently cut whatever radius you want or whatever contour you want for snare beds. So yeah, this is my first attempt at a snare bed jig, which was very much inspired by the Drum Foundry snare bed jig that Eric Soy came up with. But yeah, so far works really well. I'm sure that as I continue to use this, it will evolve, but I'm pretty stoked about it right now. It's worked really well on these two shells, and I'm excited to continue to use that. So anyway, that's some of the stuff that I did this week. I gotta get back to work, but thanks, and I'll catch you next time.